Hi, today we're going to talk about how to write the equation given a table. So we know our equation is going to be y equals mx plus b, where m is the slope and b is the y-intercept. Okay, just like when we have a graph. The problem is that finding the slope takes a little bit more work when we can't just count rise over run. So what we're going to do for our slope, maybe I'll write it over here, is our slopes normally rise over run. But we can't count that on a table unless we plotted the points and made it a graph, which you certainly could do. So instead what it is just going to be subtract the y values and subtract the x values. And sometimes we call this y1 and y2 and x1 and x2. But really what you're doing is subtracting two y values and subtracting two x values. So what you have to do is start by choosing 2 points, any 2 points. Honestly, I often start with the top point just because it's on top and I don't have to think very hard about it. Other than that one, you can choose any other point. I'm just going to choose the next point. It really doesn't matter. Okay, so I chose these two. Now I have to subtract the two y values. Now notice it says really y1 minus y2. That's just subtract the first y value minus the second y value. So here's the first y value, it's 7, and then minus the second y value is 9, divided by first x value is 2, minus the second x value is 3. And now this is the slope. I just have to simplify as much as I can. 7 minus 9 is negative 2. 2 minus 3 is negative 1. We can simplify negative 2 divided by negative 1. A negative divided by a negative is a positive, and then 2 divided by 1 is just 2. So now I know, oh, there's the bell. So now I know that my slope is 2 times x, plus I need to do my y-intercept. Now, the y-intercept is a number when x is 0. Well, this bummer does not show me x is 0. If it showed me x is 0, all I would do is write down the number that went along with x, but it doesn't show that to me. So we need to actually figure it out. And the way we're going to do that is work backwards. So I noticed that to work backwards one space on the x side, it goes backwards 2 spaces on the y side. So I go backwards one more space, so 3, 2, 1. So I have to go backwards one more space on the y. Now I don't just go 7 to 6, because this is counting back 2. So 9, 7, and then back 2 is 5. My goal is to find x is 0, so I'm still not there yet. So I need to go back again to 0, which means I have to go back again. I can't just go 5, 4, because this is going back by 2s, so it's 5 to 3. And there we go. That is the y-intercept, and that's our equation. So our equation is y equals 2x plus 3. Now let's try this one more time just so we can really get the idea of how to solve this. So again, y equals mx plus b is going to be our task, right? Our equation. There we go. And first, let's find our slope. So remember that rise over run is really subtract the two y values on top and subtract the two x values on bottom. The first y value minus the second y value, the first x value minus the second x value. So choose any 2 points. Last time I chose the top 2. It really doesn't matter. You don't have to. Maybe I'll choose the second point and the fourth point this time. What matters is that a point is 2 numbers that are horizontal, an x value and a y value. So they're right next to each other, one x value, one y value. And I say horizontal, but that's the wrong word. It should be a pair of one x value, one y value. That's what's correct. So now I do the first y value minus the second y value. So negative 3 minus negative 6 divided by, and now I subtract the x values, 4 minus 7. So negative 3 minus negative 6, that's just 3. And then 4 minus 7 is a negative 3. And now I need to simplify as much as possible. 3 divided by negative 3. Well, just 3 divided by 3 would be 1, but a positive divided by a negative is a negative. So negative 1 is my slope. So y equals negative 1 times x. Now, honestly, we don't have to actually do the 1. We can just do y equals negative x. That's perfectly fine as well. Now we have to do that y-intercept where we want the x's to be 0. And sometimes it will give you a 0 on the table. So then you're done. That's great. But this is unfortunately not one of those times either. So we have to do a little bit of working. So I'm noticing to get from 4 to 2, that goes back 2 spaces. So I have to keep that pattern going. So that's different than the last table. So that last table we did, I found the pattern for that table. And that's what I did. Now I'm finding the pattern for this table. So my x's are going back by 2. So that's a 0, right? Because I went 4, then back 2, then back 0. Now notice over here, 2, 4, 6, 7. This doesn't fit that pattern of 2s. That's okay, that doesn't matter. The x values can be whatever. To find the pattern, you just need to look at the first 2 points and say, okay, well, this pattern was going back by 2, so I'm going to go back by 2 again. It doesn't matter what else is happening, right? I could cross all this off and just focus on those 2 points. Now, to go back by 2 here, it actually looks like it went back by 2 as well here. So I have to go back by 2. So it was -3 to -1, which means, again, going, I guess I say back, it's really going forward by 2. So -1, then going forward 2 spaces goes to a +1. And there's my y-intercept because x is 0, y is 1. And because it's a +1, we'll do +1. If it had been a -1, we would have written -1. So here's our equation, y equals -x + 1. So that is finding the equation from a table.